What? Oh my gosh, guys, this is crazy. Like, I never thought I'd say I won a Grammy at 22 years old.
Young Miami just lit up the industry with a $20 million lawsuit that's got everyone in shock. She's taking aim at Tyla, yes, the Grammy-winning South African pop star, accusing her of stealing an unreleased track straight from under her nose. This isn't just some messy internet beef or a clout-chasing headline. This is real legal smoke filed in Los Angeles Superior Court with some heavy claims attached. According to the official documents, Miami says Tyla's latest single copies key protected elements from a track she never even got to release. The lawsuit doesn't stop there. It lists copyright infringement, unjust enrichment, and even emotional distress. Miami saying she's not just mad, she's hurt, and she's ready to prove it. What's really turning heads is the detail that Miami allegedly played Tyla the demo herself during a private studio session. Imagine that. You share your art with someone, trust them with your sound, and then months later, boom, they drop something that sounds way too familiar. Miami claims she's watching another woman take credit for what she created with her own hands, and fans can't decide whether this is betrayal or business as usual. Online, it's pure chaos. Half the internet is riding for Miami, saying she's got a solid case, while others accuse her of trying to ride Tyla's wave for attention. But the court filings tell a deeper story than any tweet could. If Miami's got the receipts, voice notes, timestamps, or studio logs, Tyla could be in serious trouble. This might end up being one of the biggest and messiest copyright battles the music world's seen in years. So let's rewind this drama, because this whole mess didn't just pop up out of nowhere. It started with one cryptic tweet that set the internet on fire. On October 16th, Young Miami jumped on social media and dropped the line, "Take me to Chanel greater than put me in Chanel." At first, everyone thought she was just teasing her next single or throwing playful shade at another artist's lyrics. But then, boom, she followed up with a string of posts that made it clear something way deeper was brewing behind the scenes. She didn't name names at first, but she sure didn't hold back either. Miami wrote that a certain girl really ran off with my song and said she didn't even know how to feel about it. Then she doubled down, adding that she had actually played the track for this girl herself. And that's when fans started connecting the dots like detectives. Within minutes, social media exploded with theories, reposts, and side-by-side clips. The blogs pounced, gossip pages lit up, and by sundown, TMZ confirmed what everyone was whispering. The girl Miami was talking about was none other than Tyla. Now here's where things got even messier. Around that same time, Tyla had just teased her upcoming single called "Say You Love Me, Then Put Me in Chanel." And people immediately noticed how suspiciously similar it sounded to the unreleased track Miami had been teasing for months. The titles matched, the theme was nearly identical, and the timing couldn't have been worse. Fans started posting comparison videos, lining up lyrics, and the comments were ruthless. People were calling it a straight-up copy, while others claimed it was just a coincidence. But once those clips started circulating, the conversation shifted fast, from playful speculation to a full-blown accusation that sent both fan bases into battle mode. But what really sent this whole situation spiraling out of control wasn't just the accusation. It was Miami claiming she had receipts to back every word. She wasn't just talking. She came ready to prove her point. According to her, she had been cooking up "Take Me to Chanel" since early 2024, long before Tyla even hinted at her version. Miami had been teasing snippets and hints as far back as February, hyping it up as the anthem of the year. Fans remember her dropping little previews on Instagram Live and tweeting about a track that would shake up the whole summer. Then, in August, she fired off another tweet saying that "everybody trying to take my song from me." At the time, most people brushed it off like she was just venting about competition. But now, looking back, it feels like major foreshadowing. Miami claims that during BET Awards weekend 2024, she was in Los Angeles hitting up industry mixers and private studio sessions. One of those sessions, she says, was organized by a mutual producer who invited a few artists to vibe, and guess who was allegedly there? Tyla. Miami says during that session, she played the unfinished demo of Take Me to Chanel just to share ideas, trusting everyone in the room. She claims Tyla sat there listening, nodding along, and soaking it all in. Months later, according to Miami's version, Tyla dropped Say You Love Me, then Put Me in Chanel, which in Miami's eyes sounded way too close for comfort. She believes Tyla lifted the hook and concept, switched up a few lyrics, and rebranded it as her own. That one studio session, that one moment of creative trust, is now the core of Miami's $20 million lawsuit. She's saying that's where the theft happened, and that what started as a friendly collaboration turned into a career-defining betrayal. Miami's lawyers are coming in locked and loaded, using every detail to prove their point, that Tyla had direct access to the track before she ever dropped her own version. In copyright law, that's a huge deal. Proving access can make or break a case, and because if you can show that someone actually heard your work before creating something similar, the court starts looking at everything differently. It's basically saying she didn't just get inspired, she copied. And that's exactly the angle Miami's team is pushing. They're building their whole argument around that studio session, saying it gave Tyla an inside look at the original concept. But of course, Tyla's camp is telling a completely different story, and we'll get to her side in a second. For now, let's break down what's actually inside this lawsuit, because the legal filing is packed with details that go way beyond social media drama. According to insiders who've seen the documents, Miami's complaint lists 3 major allegations: copyright infringement, unjust enrichment, and emotional distress. In plain terms, she's accusing Tyla of stealing her work, profiting from it, and causing real emotional harm in the process. Miami's legal team claims they can prove she made the song first, and they're bringing digital evidence to back it up. They've reportedly included metadata from Pro Tools Cloud, that's the industry standard software for recording sessions, showing timestamps and file histories. Those files, according to the filing, are dated March 4, 2025, months before Tyla ever teased her single. That kind of evidence could be a smoking gun in court, especially if it shows the lyrics, melody, or hook existed long before Tyla's version hit the internet. If those files check out, Miami's got more than just a social media argument. She's got a legally documented timeline that could flip this entire case in her favor. The lawsuit doesn't just rely on timelines and metadata. Miami's team brought audio receipts too. According to reports, the legal filing includes an affidavit featuring snippets from Miami's original demo, giving the court a taste of what she says Tyla copied. The lyrics reportedly go something like, "Take me to Chanel, buy me what I like. Put me in Chanel when you send your type." Now compare that to Tyla's chorus, which fans already know from teasers. "Say you love me, then put me in Chanel, you know what I like." Sound familiar? Yeah, fans think so too. The structure, tone, and concept are nearly identical, and that's exactly what Miami's lawyers are banking on. They didn't stop there either. They hired a musicology expert from a top university to analyze both songs line by line, beat by beat, and the findings reportedly shocking. The expert found a 68% lyrical overlap between the 2 tracks, plus nearly identical cadence patterns in the hooks. But it gets even wilder. The analysis also showed both songs shared the same BPM, tempo, and even the same key signature, which made the melodies blend almost perfectly when played together. That kind of match is nearly impossible to pass off as coincidence, and it's giving Miami's legal team serious ammunition. They're arguing that all of this combined, the lyrics, rhythm, and overall vibe, proves Tyla's track wasn't just inspired by Miami's song, it was a reconstruction of it. And about that massive $20 million demand, it's not just for show, it's a strategic legal move. In copyright lawsuits, lawyers often start high with damages to set the tone for settlement talks. It's about sending a message, we're not here to play. Miami's team knows this number will make everyone pay attention, from Tyla's label to her management. This isn't just about money, it's about respect, ownership, and reputation in an industry where one hit can change everything. Legal insiders who've been keeping tabs on this case say that while $20 million sounds like a jaw-dropping number, the actual payout, if there's a settlement, will probably land closer to $1 to $2 million. That's still major cash, but way more realistic in music industry terms. Some analysts even predict that instead of a full payout, the resolution could involve joint songwriting credits or a cut of future royalties, letting both artists save face while keeping the money flowing. That's usually how these high-profile music disputes wrap up. See, very few copyright battles like this actually make it all the way to trial. The stakes are just too high for both sides. For Miami, settling out of court could still mean validation, proof that her work was taken seriously, plus a nice financial win without the risk of losing in front of a jury. For Tyla, agreeing to a deal would protect her image and momentum, avoiding months or even years of headlines calling her a song thief. But right now, neither side seems ready to blink. Miami's team is playing hardball. They've reportedly filed for a temporary restraining order to block Tyla from promoting or performing the song in the US until the ownership dispute is officially settled. If a judge signs off on that order, it would be a major blow to Tyla's rollout plans. Imagine, no performances, no streaming, no marketing. That could cost her label millions in lost revenue and delay major brand deals that were already lined up. So at this point, the battle isn't just legal, it's financial and reputational too. Both women have something to lose, and the clock is ticking fast. One wrong move, and this could explode into one of the messiest artist versus artist showdowns of the decade. So how did Tyla respond to all this chaos? Well, she didn't, at least not publicly. While young Miami was firing off tweets and filing million-dollar lawsuits, Tyla stayed completely silent, moving like nothing could shake her. She kept promoting her single, posting rehearsal clips, dropping behind-the-scenes shots, and teasing her music video like the storm wasn't even happening. Then, on top of that, she went ahead and released the song on schedule. No delay, no hesitation, no apologies. To some fans, that move came across as pure power play energy. A slick way of saying, I'm not worried about your noise. Others saw it as arrogance, like she was ignoring a serious accusation just to keep the spotlight. But behind the silence, Tyla's team was anything but passive. Insiders say her lawyers had already sent a cease and desist letter to Miami days before the lawsuit went public. That letter reportedly demanded that Miami stop making what they called defamatory and unverified claims about song theft. Basically, Tyla's team was warning, say another word and we'll see you in court too. It was a preemptive strike, meant to set boundaries before things got uglier. But Miami didn't back down. She went ahead and filed the lawsuit anyway, proving she was dead serious about standing her ground. Still, Tyla's silent strategy might be her smartest move yet. In the world of PR, sometimes silence screams louder than words. By refusing to engage online, she's keeping her brand clean and letting her music do the talking. No messy back and forth, no viral arguments, just business as usual. It's a classic major artist defense tactic. Stay quiet, let the lawyers handle the legal fire, and never give your opponent a soundbite they can use against you. Even though fans are begging for Tyla to speak up, her silence might just be the reason she keeps her crown polished through all this chaos. At this point, no matter who people believe, this case is officially headed to court, and the outcome could change everything for both women. The stakes couldn't be higher. If young Miami wins, she won't just walk away with a fat financial settlement. She'll walk away with respect. It would mark her as the artist who stood up to a major label machine and a Grammy-winning star and still came out on top. That's the kind of headline that can reshape a career overnight. She'd go from being seen as a rapper caught in drama to a serious artist protecting her craft and demanding her credit. But if the court doesn't go her way, the whole story could flip in an instant. The same people cheering her on now might turn around and say she filed a frivolous lawsuit just for clout. Losing this battle could hit her credibility hard, especially in an industry that already treats female artists like they have to fight twice as hard to be taken seriously. A loss could make it tougher for her to get new collaborations or label support in the future, even if she was in the right emotionally. For Tyla, the pressure's just as intense. She's fresh off a Grammy win, her name's global, and her brand is glowing. But if she loses or even settles publicly, that stolen song label could haunt her reputation. Brands might start to pull back, collaborations could get awkward, and the industry might quietly start seeing her as a risky partner. A copyright scandal this early in her rise could easily slow her momentum at the worst possible moment. Most experts predict that this case probably won't go to a full trial. It'll likely settle out of court within a few months. That's how most of these high-stakes creative battles end, especially when both sides have so much to protect. But until that deal is signed, the tension is thick, and every post, tweet, or studio move could shift the power balance overnight. If this case ends with a settlement, which most insiders say is the most likely outcome, it'll probably look something like this. Tyla offers Young Miami co-writing credits, a cut of the royalties, and a confidential cash payout behind closed doors. That way, both sides can walk away looking like winners. Tyla keeps her hit on streaming platforms, and Miami gets compensated and validated without gambling everything in court. It's the kind of quiet deal that lets everyone save face while still acknowledging that something wasn't right. But if this case actually goes to trial, things could get way more intense. It would all boil down to two key legal pillars in copyright law: access and substantial similarity. Miami has to prove that Tyla had direct access to her demo, that infamous BET Awards weekend studio session, and that the two songs are so similar that an average person would clearly hear one being copied from the other. If her team's metadata, timestamps, and expert analysis check out, Miami's case could be rock solid. The files are dated months before Tyla's version ever appeared, and the 68% lyrical overlap doesn't exactly scream coincidence. But Tyla's legal squad is ready too. They're expected to challenge the timeline, argue that the hook and theme are common concepts, and claim any similarities are purely accidental. One strong counter-argument could completely crumble Miami's narrative if the jury buys it. So where does that leave things right now? Two powerful women both standing their ground, locked in a career-defining legal showdown. Miami's fighting for her art and integrity, determined to prove she's not just another name in the credits, she's the creator. Meanwhile, Tyla's defending her reputation and artistry, trying to protect everything she's built since her Grammy win. It's a standoff where every court filing, tweet, and leak matters, because when this verdict drops, only one of them will walk away with their legacy untarnished. The entire music industry is glued to this case because it could set a massive precedent for how unreleased demos and ideas are shared during studio sessions. If Young Miami wins, the message will be loud and clear. Artists need to be extremely cautious about who they let hear their unfinished work, even when it's just a chill creative session. It'll make people think twice before pressing play in a room full of friends, producers, or even collaborators. A win like that could shift how songwriting camps operate and make artists guard their music like gold before it's officially out. But if Tyla wins, the lesson flips entirely. That outcome would reinforce the idea that inspiration and influence are natural parts of the creative process, that not every melody, lyric, or phrase that sounds similar equals theft. It would strengthen the argument that music, especially in today's digital age, often overlaps by accident. And if that happens, it might actually make it harder for artists in the future to claim ownership over similar sounding material unless they've got undeniable proof. Either way, this battle is about more than two songs with Chanel in the title. It's about ownership, respect, and the thin line between collaboration and appropriation. It's forcing the industry to look in the mirror and ask, where does inspiration end and imitation begin? The next few months are going to be intense as lawyers, fans, and artists all watch this play out. Both Young Miami and Tyla have everything on the line: their reputations, their futures, and their credibility as creators. One verdict could reshape how music gets made and shared in the modern era. So what's your take on it all? Do you think Young Miami's got a legit case, or is this a headline-grabbing stunt to boost her solo brand? Let's hear it in the comments, and make sure to hit like and subscribe so you don't miss what happens next in this wild story.